This lesson discusses the three regular expression command sets. The topics include: what is a regular expression? What use is a regular expression in designing a website? What is validation? What are the families of regular expression commands? Why is the PREG family recommended for use? Can you use the PREG family for multi-byte strings? What is a multi-byte string? And finally, is there a performance disadvantage when using regular expressions? The first question is, what is a regular expression? Simply put, a regular expression is a string which uses symbolic language to describe another string. In conjunction with a website, regular expressions can be used to perform what is known as validation. As an example of validation, let's have a look at the browser screen. Let's say, for example, that we wish to have users log into a website. We want them to enter a username. However, there are restrictions on what we allow for a username. In this example, if we put in invalid characters, for example, Doug, and then some special characters, we submit the query. We then perform validation to determine whether the username is valid or not. In this case, the username has to have a combination of letters and numbers only. Looking at the code, you can see in this example, we're using $_get, which is a PHP associative array, which represents parameters in the URL. $_get is discussed in more detail in the section discussing web forms. On line 13, we see our first example of using a regular expression. As you can see, it uses symbolic letters and characters to represent a string. In this case, it's a pattern which describes alpha and numeric characters only. If the match occurs positively, the message comes back, username is OK. If the match does not occur successfully, the result is an invalid message. As we will see in later lessons, regular expressions can also be used to extract information from web documents and also to perform cleanup of data. Let's have a look now at the various families of regular expression commands. The first family is the EREG family. You can see there are various functions, EREG, EREG replace, EREG iReplace, etc., which were introduced in PHP 4 and have been retained in PHP 5. It is an older set of commands, however, and you will notice at the bottom of the screen there's a warning which indicates that this set of commands has been deprecated, which means that eventually they will be removed from the PHP language. Accordingly, their use is discouraged. The MB-EREG family is based on the EREG family. However, it is architected specifically to work with multi-byte strings. Multi-byte strings will be discussed shortly. Because the MB-EREG family is based on the EREG family, which itself is considered obsolete, the use of the MB-EREG family is discouraged. The currently recommended set of commands is the PREG family. As you can see on the left, there are a number of functions which fit into this family. PREG stands for Perl regular expressions. Perl is the language from which this set of commands originally evolved. Perl is another language which stands for Practical Extraction and Reporting Language. In this chapter, we will be discussing PREG match, PREG match all, and PREG replace. To round off our discussion, let's have a look at the second program example, which discusses multi-byte characters. As you can see, we have a name which is rendered in standard Latin characters. On line 10, you see an example of a string which has been assigned a series of characters coming from an international language set which uses multi-byte character encoding. Accordingly, even though we can only see 7 characters, the length will come back as 21 because of some deficiencies in certain string functions within PHP. Moving over to the browser, let's have a look at the result. So as you can see, the Latin-based character set comes back properly with a length of 7, whereas the multi-byte character set, even though we only have 5 lower characters and 2 small upper characters, the length comes back as 21. This has been a classic problem in PHP and is being addressed with another release known as PHP 6. However, the timeline for the release of PHP 6 has not been announced. The question then is, if you are comparing strings and you are working on an international website where people might be using characters from international character sets, how can you do string comparison? One possibility, of course, is to use the MB-EREG family, which was discussed moments ago. This requires the multi-byte extension to be downloaded, compiled, and enabled. However, as discussed, the MB-EREG family is considered obsolete. The better solution is to use the PREG family, however, to use what are called modifiers. Looking at the documentation, you'll notice there is a discussion of what are called modifiers. And one of the modifiers is the U modifier, which is used to handle UTF-8 encoded strings, which includes international character sets. This will be discussed in other lessons within this chapter. In review, what is a regular expression? A regular expression uses predefined symbols to describe a string. What use is a regular expression in designing a website? Regular expressions can be used for validation, for extraction of information, and also what is known as cleanup. What is validation? Validation is the process of ensuring that the information that you receive is in an expected format. What are the families of regular expression commands? These include the EREG family, which is considered obsolete, the MB-EREG family, which is currently active, however, it is based on an obsolete command set, and finally, the PREG family. All three of these families rely on different PHP extensions. Why is the PREG family recommended for use? The other families have been deprecated or are based on obsolete commands. The PREG family is being actively developed and supported. Can you use the PREG family for multi-byte strings? The answer is yes, if you add the U modifier at the end of the pattern. The PREG family will therefore support UTF-8 encoded multi-byte strings, which allows for international character sets to be handled. What is a multi-byte string? A multi-byte string is when each character is rendered using more than one byte. International character sets can include such languages as written Chinese, Thai, Arabic, and other languages. Is there a performance disadvantage when using regular expressions? The answer is yes. However, if you need intelligent searching and intelligent replacing, the regular expression commands will be the best option. Otherwise, if you have precise knowledge of the type of data you're searching for, you could use the C-type family of commands, or if you're searching for a string within a string and you don't need the flexibility of regular expressions, you could use string commands, which are discussed in other lessons, such as strpos or stripos. This concludes our discussion of understanding the three regular expression command sets.